So hi everyone, my name is Gellis, and of course this is Infinite Modesty Design. I want to thank everyone for joining me today or who will be watching the replay. Thank you so much for watching. This is actually just a live. I decided, you know what, I'm going to do a live today because I haven't done a live for a while. And in this live today, of course, I want to make a pillowcase cover. So a very simple DIY pillowcase cover I'm going to do today, very live. And I hope that this live would be knowledgeable for anyone who loves sewing and wonderful. All right, so I am not on Zoom today, just to let everyone know. So I know some people might be connecting with Zoom. I'm not on Zoom today. Like I said, it's just a quick live. I haven't even shared to my email list or anything like that. However, I will do it after. All right, so who we are, of course, we love teaching how to sew. Right now we only have one specific location in Brampton, that's in Canada, and where we teach beginners classes only on Mondays. I'm grateful all the same. I wish I had more other days, but it's only on Mondays, and I'm very grateful. So let's get straight to it. Now, if you are watching us live or the replay, you could just say hi, say where you're connecting with us from. I always like to connect with anyone who share interest in my videos. So guys, anyway, enough of talking. I just want to make a simple pillowcase cushion. Very simple, very basic. Nothing too hard for you or anyone itself to do. It's a very simple pillowcase. Now, I just bought this pillowcase recently just to make sure that I could do my life with it. And this is a simple pillowcase. So I'm going to actually just turn it around to show you how simple it is. And I'm going to try to make it very much live for you to see. So very simple. I know there's pillowcase you can make it even more complicated itself, or more complex, not complicated, complex. So this is how it is on the wrong side. That's how it is here. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is measurement. Measurement is always key. It's always important in anything. Okay. So my pillowcase now, if you just want to try out to make a pillowcase cover without a particular measurement, you could just get 1 yard of fabric. It's about 36 inches a yard, and then the width might be 44 with the 45 inches in width for the fabric. So if you just want to try out, you don't want to go through all this measurement, that's perfectly fine. You could get, like I mentioned, 1 yard of fabric, and you should be fine. Anyway, I am going to measure this here, and I'm going to try to go as close as I can. And I'm just going to do a quick math. So the length of my pillowcase, let's say, is 24. All right. So with this 24 inches here, as the length of my length, I would add about 2 inches more to that. So I'll put 26, for instance. Okay. So 26. All right. And that will be the length. So the length of my pillow here is 24. And I would just add 2 more inches to that to make it 26. Okay. All right. The width now. So the width here, like I mentioned, the width here is about, let's say it's about 20, right? Let's say it's about 20 here for the width. Okay. Then for the width, I am going to add about 2 inches more. So make it 22. Okay. Now, again, what you could go ahead and do, you could just get a piece of fabric, 1 yard, and I'm just going to stick with the 1 yard measurement. Okay. So let's put this down and let me show you what I'm talking about. So this fabric, I sort of measured almost close to this, but let's say this is 1 yard of fabric. That would be fine. You could try it. And then if it's too big, you could always tailor it down with the seam allowance, which is fine. And I'm going to show you in the end if it's too big for my pillowcase here. So let's say this is my 1 yard of fabric. Okay. So I'm going to measure it here for you. So this here now, and again, we're making a pillowcase cover, just a very simple, very basic pillowcase cover. Okay. So this would be my my width itself for the 44 inches width. Okay. So this will be the width right here. All right. And then now I would measure here now as my 36. Okay. So I have it a little bit shorter here, but you could measure this here as your 36. So remember, 36 by 44, you'll find. Okay, it would be bigger. That's okay. You could always tailor it down as you go along. All right. So by this measurement now, okay, I am going to take here now, this is my 44. And this is what I'm going to do, because this is the nitty-gritty part of making your pillowcase here. So this is my 44 here across here, right? I will take the 44 and I will close it together in half like this. Okay? So once I close it together in half like this, I am going to decide which part going to be the top of my pillowcase and which part going to be the bottom of my pillowcase. So let me get my pillowcase here. So which side going to be the top and which side going to be the bottom. That's pretty much what I'm looking for here. So I'm just going to decide which side is the top and which side is the bottom. So you could do any side could be the top, any side could be the bottom. It doesn't matter. Okay. So in this case, I'm just going to use my top as my top. So as I determine this is going to be the top of my pillowcase, what I'm going to do, I'm going to open it out just like this, and I'm going to prepare the top side. Okay. So I'm going to move myself from the camera here, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So this is the side we're going to be preserving first before we even connect our to the pillowcase is very simple, but we just want to do a little bit of prep before we sew. Okay, so I'm gonna move this piece closer to me here, and I'm gonna move the camera down here. All right, so this is the piece I am going to prepare first, this side here. So what I'm gonna do here, guys, I'm gonna measure this. You could measure this down on my extra here. You could measure this down 1/2 inch. Right, so 1/2 inch first, and then you could iron it down. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to try to do a quick iron here. It's kind of a little bit easier when you iron it down. You have it more tailored down. You could also just measure and pin as well. That's perfectly fine. All right, so the side of this side, I'm going to make my the top of my pillowcase. I'm going to iron it down 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to do freehand ironing here. So iron it down 1/2 inch. Okay. So you're preserving the top side. So iron it down 1/2 inch, iron it down 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. So all the way down, that side and the side are gonna be my top. So make sure, of course, your iron is hot. Let's see here. Make sure your iron is on good settings. And again, I'm just using an Ankara fabric, so make life easier for me. I don't have to put any top fabric over, because you know, the heat of the fabric, the fabric itself could stand the heat of my iron. So I'm just going to iron that 1/2 inch down all the way down to the end. Okay, so all the way down to the end, my 1/2 inch is going to be ironed nicely down. All right, so right now, if anyone is joining us from anywhere, you could definitely say hi. Let us know where you're connecting with us from. Just love to know that I'm connecting with different people from different sources around the world, which is fantastic. So who we are, we love to teach sewing. I used to teach online classes a lot in COVID. I'm planning to come back by God's grace. We'll see how it goes. But for now, I teach in-person class in Brampton. We have our kids and adult sewing class. Okay, so like I mentioned, I iron this down just 1/2 inch. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this 1/2 inch and fold it down 4 inches down. Okay, all right. So I'm going to go down 4 inches down now from that 1/2 inch. You could also go 3 inches down as well. Okay, so based on your size of your pillow, so your pillow going to be more or less. So I'm gonna do 4 inches down. So 4 inches down is fine. Okay, so 4 inches down. We're gonna go down 4 inches down from the top here. So I'm hoping you're seeing that very well here. So from 1/2 inch down, then we're gonna go again that same side. We're gonna preserve it 4 inches down, and you could just go ahead and pin it down. You could pin it down to this end here, or you could just measure 4 inches and iron. So that's what I'm gonna actually do. Measure 4 inches and just iron it down here. So as I go, make sure it's 4 inches with my tape measurement as I go along. So 4 inches, and I'm ironing it down. So again, I want to iron that crease in the back here. Now I'll show you exactly what I mean. So 4 inches and iron down. If you find it's too complicated, you could always go ahead and put a pin for the 4 inches down to make sure it's tailored. And if you're a beginner, of course, I would always encourage use a pin to just kind of pin it down to get it nice and tailored down. So I'm measuring again 4 inches down. Again, this is just a quick live I'm doing, so I don't want the video to be too long. So again, iron down. Let's make sure it's here. 4 inches down and iron. 4 inches down and iron. I'm gonna do another set here. Again, remember, my 1/2 inch is already folded in. Okay, So I'm measuring again another 4 inches down. Okay. And again, you could just do it with 1 yard of fabric, 44 inches width by your 36 inches itself length, as in 1 yard of fabric. Okay. So, all right, so good. So I just want to make sure that my fold here is really nice and tailored down. Right? It's really, really nicely tailored down. That's one of the main thing I want to do here. Okay. So you could go ahead and do 2 things, guys. I am going to do it the way that I think if I'm teaching a beginner, this is exactly what I would do. So let me bring the camera up a little bit here. All right. So this is how it is. This is how I preserve my top. Remember, we have that 4 inches down here. It's already fold down. Sorry, the 1/2 inches in, fold in, and then we fold it down again to another 4 inches down. So you could go ahead and start preparing to sew the fabric just like this. However, if you're a beginner and you're not competent itself, in the beginning, of course, right, as you go along, you get stronger and stronger. You could go ahead and sew it down, sew this fold down before you even do anything. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to avoid doing the double sewing. I am going to open my piece like this so you would see where I fold down, and I'm going to measure. So this would be the inside, and I'm going to close it right sides touching right side. So this is the right sides here. Okay, so this is my right sides here. So I'm going to touch it right sides to right sides now because I want to sew everything neatly down now. So right sides to right sides. Okay, guys, right sides to right sides. Then what I'm going to go ahead and do, I am going to, so right sides to right sides, I am going to go ahead and sew this down from here to here. Okay, so here to here, right? I'll pivot and turn. For those who take my class and understand what is pivot and turn, I'll pivot and turn, make sure my needle is down, lift up the presser foot, then I'll continue up to here. So what I could do here, you could go ahead and do a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Again, every size of the pillow is different. Right? Every size of the pillow is different. So your pillow size may be totally different. So like I said, you could always go with 1 inch, follow the same step, and you could always tailor it down until you pretty much get a competent measurement, and you could go ahead and sew more in general. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to sew 1 inch down here, this side, that this side is a little bit bigger. 1 inch down here, and I'm going to sew only 1/2 inch in the bottom here. Okay. As well, because this is a live, I could also go ahead and sew 1 full inch down here. So what I'm going to do first, actually, I'm going to go ahead and do the 1 inch here, and I'm going to go ahead and do the 1/2 inch here. Okay, you could go ahead and do 1 inch. That's perfectly fine. All right, so let me just get my machine close here now, and then we'll test everything out and see how it goes. Okay, if you are a beginner, I'm going to always say use pins in the fabric. You may not see me using pin per se today. Actually, you know what, I'm going to just use 1 or 2 pins here just to kind of keep this part aligned, right? It doesn't mean if you use pin in the fabric, you're not a good seamstress or you're not a good sewer. That doesn't mean anything. Actually, if you use pin in the fabric, it makes your fabric neat until you get that competent level of not using pin. So people ask me, people ask me a question on that. All right. Okay, so I am going to start from this point here, and like I mentioned, I'm going to go down. Start here, we're going to go down, and then we're going to go here. Remember, this part is the fold, right? That's what we fold it in. So let's get started. Another thing, guys, always make sure you take out your pin when you're sewing. As good as you are probably in sewing, your needle could actually break itself. So I'm doing 1 inch seam allowance here. Okay. There's no headache if you do 1/2 inch seam allowance and you go back and do the 1 inch. Or do 1/2 inch if you need to. If you think, well, you know what, my pillow is very tiny, you could do 1 inch seam. You could do 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay. So I am going to do 1 inch seam allowance here. So let me take out my pin as I go. And my thread is here. So I'll do my back stitch. Okay. Then I'm going to sew my 1 inch nicely down. So make sure your fabric is always aligned, and that's where pin come in. Okay, guys? So nice and tailored down. Just trying to take my time here. So this is a very easy, quick, DIY that you could just take some fabric, no brain surgery, 1 yard of fabric to be fine, and you just try it out. So I am going to go 1/2 inch on the end here. You could still go 1 full inch. That's perfectly fine. As well as you could also go 1/2 inch and then measure. So I'll show you what I'm talking about when I say measure. All right. So I'm going to just come 1/2 inch this side. Okay. 1/2 inch this side. That's the bottom side now. My thread actually is not behaving itself. Okay. All right. So 1/2 inch this side. Again, guys, this is woven fabric. If you're using like stretch fabric to make your pillowcase, I mean, I won't advise it, but if you do, which is fine as well, the measurement will be totally different from this. Okay. So this is fabric that has grain. Okay. All right. So I'm done here. Okay. Let me put the machine aside. Okay. And I am going to sew. Make sure I get my scissors to take out my extra here. Okay. So I am going to now. So this is the part I still have to sew it down. I haven't sewn it down yet. Now, guys, listen. If you have a serger, you could always go ahead and serge your garment as you sew. But again, this is our pillowcase cushion. It will be inside, so I'm perfectly fine. And I think as a beginner, you'll be just fine as well. Okay. All right. So what I want to do here, we're not ready yet. I'm just measuring to see, is it too big? And that's fine, right? Like mine here might be a little bit too big. That's okay. I just wanted to show you how simple it is. So I am going to turn it first, and I'm just going to do some measurement and show you how you can make alteration, which is perfectly fine if you don't have the measurement to the T, which is okay. I don't like to waste fabric. That's me. But again, I will always say try things out. You don't have to be correct all the time. It's okay, right? It's okay that you have to make adjustment. It's okay, and that's what I'm doing here on the live. That it's okay that we're gonna make adjustment. Okay. All right. So this is it here. Remember, this is my top side. I haven't sewn it down yet. We're just trying it out to see. Okay. So some people may like the pillowcase cover to be big. So this might be a little bit big, which is okay. Like I mentioned, it's actually gonna be really big. So let's put it up here. Remember, we haven't finished yet, right? So this is how it is, right? So it's just a little, just have a little extra space here in case I have a bigger pillowcase. Then I think this pillowcase will be perfect. This will be perfect. So what I'm going to do here, I am going to actually go in just a little bit more to bring the seam allowance down a little bit more for those who watch me. I want to make alteration, and then I want to seal this down. Okay. All right. So let me just put it back, and I'll show you guys how to do it. If it's too big, that's okay. That's fine with your 1 yard of fabric. That's okay. That's this with this other pillowcase here. I think I make it more exactly to this measurement, so it fits really, really well. But for this one here, I know every pillowcase is not made equal, so I wanted to make this one and show you how to actually you could adjust it based on doing your own little alteration. So I'm gonna just go ahead. That 1 inch I sew here, I'm gonna actually show a little bit more here. An additional 1/2 inch here, which is fine by me. I could even leave it like that, but you know what? I'll just show you how you could also make alteration. And if you find the pillow is too long in the bottom, okay, you could also go ahead and do a 1 inch in the bottom here, guys. Okay, it's it's not, you won't get in trouble with that. I trust me. All right, so I'm gonna do another 1/2 inch here down. Okay, so let me make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. Sorry for the shaking. All right. Perfect. Okay, let's hope I have, oh, my needle actually broke. So now my needle broke, my thread come out. How fun. This is what live is all about. Oops, and everything is hot as ketchup. So I am going to thread my sewing machine live. So let's see. Sometimes again it goes smooth. Sometimes again it's and I always encourage my beginner, try to always thread your machine with using your you know, practicing with your eyes to thread the machine, because if you use an automatic threader, eventually your eyes get lazy to the eyes of the needle, and then you depend on the automatic threader. If it breaks or something, then you know, you kind of stop. All right, so there you go. That's the beauty of learning, is threading the machine all the time. It makes your eyes easier to see the eyes of the needle. Okay, so that's fine with me, guys. So the next thing I'm going to do here now is just seal this down here. Again, guys, you could always, let me get my pin here. It fell. Sorry about that. You could always go ahead and pin this if you want to make sure you keep it down nice and stable. I wouldn't pin it. You could go ahead and just pin this down here. Remember that fold with you in the beginning? You could go ahead and pin it all the way down if you want to make sure it's nice and stable, and then we're going to sew it down. Okay, so this is the very last part of my pillow, guys. So I'm going to take this out of my Singer Heavy Duty 4452 sewing machine, and I'm going to just hug this here. We'll just hug it up on the machine and just go all the way around. Okay, so you could start anyway. Doesn't really matter because there's no right or wrong way. I'm going to actually start right at the very edge here. And what I'm going to do, guys, so this one is important. I'm going to use the edge of my presser foot with the edge of my fold, and that is my guide. That is my road. For those who take my class and understand what sewing and making sure you're watching the road, that's exactly what it means. Okay, so I am going to, remember, as you go, you have to turn nicely. Okay, so we are going to start here. So I'm going to just start with my back stitch. Can't forget the back stitch. And then the edge of my presser foot to the edge of my fold is my guide. Again, you could always put a pin just to make sure you're nice and level as you go. All right. So I'm going to go, make sure everything is going nicely here. All right. Go round and round and round and round. Nicely done. There you go. So just take your time. If you're a beginner, I would always say put pins to make sure everything nice and stable, okay? Everything nice and stable. So you take your time on your sewing. I just want to make sure you guys could see. So again, I'm just watching the edge of my feet because that is my road as I'm sewing. Okay. Make sure you can see everything. Okay. So I'm almost to the end. Almost to the end. So I'm sewing on the inside here. Nice and tailored. Wonderful. Okay, I am done. My pillowcase cushion is done. All done. Whether you believe me or don't believe me, I'm telling you it is done. Okay, just gonna trim out my threads here. Put my sewing machine aside. Okay, so put my sewing machine aside, and then if you have any extra threads that you don't need, of course, trim them out nicely. You could go ahead and trim out any corners here. It's always good to trim out the corners. Like you could just do the bottom corner. Hopefully my scissors could help me out nicely. It's not really working that good. Okay, so I just trim out my corner. Make sure that when you're trimming out the corner, you don't trim out the thread, because eventually you have to go do the whole thing, the edge all over again. So I'm going to just turn my pillowcase nicely. You could go ahead and iron your pillowcase. It's a very simple, very basic DIY that you could even make it with needle and thread, guys. In the beginning, when I started sewing online, I was panicking. I was scared. I said, anyone have needle and thread, you could learn to sew a skirt. And trust me, I had students who start with sewing a skirt, no sewing machine. So that is how it is. So let's go ahead and test it out. Again, let's go ahead and test it out. So I'm going to get my pillowcase here, guys. And I'm going to put it in, right? I mean, like, who's going to know if there's anything is too big, is too small? Probably have a bigger, which I do have bigger pillowcase than this one. So maybe my feet another pillowcase even better than this. But voila. It is done. This is my pillowcase cushion. It is amazing. It is fantastic. You could iron it out. You could now make pillowcase to match your curtain in your room, to match whatever it is. It's very easy. It's very durable. This is the opening here. See how simple it is. This is the bottom of your pillowcase cushion, and you could be stylish. Now you would see this in a store. I want to buy it because it's so nice, and see how simple it is. You could make. So all right, guys, so I just wanted to do a quick and easy DIY. I had to cancel my class today. I had a little small emergency. So for those in my class, don't worry, you know what the emergency was. It was not nothing terrible. So, but everyone would know who's in my class. So I didn't have any sewing classes today. However, I wanted to make a beautiful DIY pillowcase that you yourself could sew. Absolutely. All right, guys. So again, you could send us a like, send us a comment, see if this video was helpful. If you would like to see little more videos like this, I have to try to schedule myself to kind of do lives as regular. I would send this out for those who's in my email list. I would send out the video itself. And then definitely, I love every one of you. Just remember that Jesus Christ loved you more than me. And one of the greatest gifts is to know him as our personal Lord and Savior. I love the Lord, and sharing the word of God is one of my my heartbeat, and of course my passion is sewing. I love to come back online very live very soon. By the grace of God, I will be coming back online. We're going to do more online classes, but for now I hope that you enjoyed this little DIY video. Go make your own, and you could send it to me or post in the link below. Thank you guys so much. Again, this is Gellis at Infinite Modesty Design. Ta-ta. Have yourself a wonderful night. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.